Okay, so if you ever send me an email inquiry, you're likely to get a response back that basically says my off-the-cuff feedback or my initial thoughts are blah, 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 blah. However, if you want me to confirm that, I'm going to have to do a detailed review. Now, when people see this, they naturally sit there and go, detailed review? Why do you need to do a detailed review? Like, why can't you just tell me the answer now? The thing is, within Brisbane, we have base rules. However, each and every single site is unique and it has an endless number of potential variables that can change those base rules. So we need to sit down, if we're going to be 100% sure, we need to see, no, we can never be 100% sure. If we're going to be 99% sure, we need to sit down and dive down each and every single one of those rabbit holes just to understand what variables are at play on this site and therefore what impact that can have to the base rules. Now, earlier this week, I was doing a site review for someone and I came across a situation that I honestly, in 15 to 20 years of my career, have never, ever seen before. So I went down one of these rabbit holes and I was like, damn, this is new for me. So I thought, hey, why don't I use this week's video to share that example with you guys, just to kind of highlight how random these variables can be and how many different directions this assessment process can take us. So let's jump behind the computer and let's do this. Okay, so the site that I was actually looking at is in this general area here. Now, usually when it comes to our initial reviews, I'm not looking at things like ARSs, access restriction strips, because they're a little bit hard to spot. In this instance though, blind Freddy was going to see the ARSs. So what you'll notice if I zoom into a random property, the ARSs that were surrounding these properties were really wide and they're just everywhere. Like it wasn't a teeny tiny slither in front of one property, these things are everywhere. So yeah, in going back to the client, providing that initial off the cuff feedback, I was like, yo, there is an ARS in place in front of this property. That means we need to dig into that to find out what the complications are or the implications are for you in terms of the future access requirements and all of that sort of stuff. Now, when I dug into the history, so fast forward, he engaged us for the detailed review. And when I dug into the history, I found three things that just really were weird. So first and foremost, ARSs are designed or intended to block access and to show or clearly delineate where council wants the access or the state government wants the access to come from. Now, we did do a video, I don't know, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, where I talked about ARSs in detail. So you can go back and watch that. But basically what you should be seeing around a property is an ARS strip and then a gap in the ARS strip, which tells you this is where council wants you to, or the state government wants you to access the property. In this instance though, if we pan around, you will see the ARSs cover every portion of every single property. So I was like, this is just not making sense. This is not how ARSs are supposed to be used. Now, the next thing that jumped out to me was when I actually looked at the property in more detail, I was like, these aren't major roads, like they're not busy thoroughfares where council or state government's trying to discourage access ways. And it's not like there's a steep cliff there and they're like, we don't want you to access from that frontage because then you're going to do additional unnecessary earthworks. Like I was just looking at it going, there is no relevant reason or justification for wanting this ARS that I can see, or ARSs that I can see here. This is really not adding up. But then the thing that really got me was, okay, so ARSs, they're supposed to block access. But then if you go across the easements and you dig into some of the applications in the area, recent applications who actually provided the easement documentation, what you work out is that there is a public access easement over each and every portion of this ARS. So as you pan around the suburb, those green little lines, they cover the ARSs and they represent easements. So yeah, on one hand, we've got an ARS there that very clearly was set up at subdivision stage that says do not access via this point. But then we've also got an easement, which again was set up at subdivision stage, so it basically says, thou shall have free reign and free access. Like, it's just not adding up. It's just not making sense here. So I'm still doing this detailed review. We haven't completed it yet, so I haven't got to the end of the mystery here. I do need to reach out to council, get the history files, all of that sort of stuff to see if I can put it together. But what it's telling me at this point is there is some weird stuff going on. Like this subdivision was really experimenting, and it's typical for this area. Out in the western suburbs in that sort of time period, they were experimenting with planning sort of stuff. So you will see a lot of weird and wonderful conditions when it comes to that pocket of town. But yeah, it tells me if they're going to be experimenting to this extreme and doing some really random poop like this, watch my language, then what else have they done? Like what else are we going to find in the history there, in the conditions that could potentially change the game, trigger applications or make applications more complicated or prevent us from being able to get approval for things, all of that sort of fun stuff. So yeah, hopefully this example here highlights to you guys that we don't follow a standard sort of run sheet or songbook when it comes to town planning. You have your base rules, but every now and then you come across weird stuff like this that just makes you go, yeah, okay, we're going to have to do some more investigation because this is not adding up and there is some weird stuff going on here. Okay, I think that covers off everything I want to talk about today. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all. Bye.